Welcome back. Brothers Andrew and Duncan Stewart are creating awareness of rhino poaching by swimming with dolphins. They completed a 6.5-kilometer swim along the coastline of Nelson Mandela Bay. This was part of the One Land Love It initiative. The OLLI movement aims to demonstrate the need to shift from just caring for the country to doing something about it. For more on this, One Land Love It Director Andrew Stewart joins us on the line now. Andrew, thank you so much for your time this morning. And perhaps this is one of those conversations that we could never become complacent about, and that is the issue around rhino poaching and the like. And somehow, some way, society seems to have gotten a little bit fatigued about it, but it does not mean that the poaching has stopped, doesn't it?
Exactly, Faith. You've described it perfectly. I think fatigue has set in. It's been a very long time since we've been fighting for conservation of rhinos. But once again, we have to highlight that we are still battling large numbers of rhino losses throughout South Africa. So the fight doesn't stop, and that's why I became a director of One Land Love It a few years back, as I realized that the ongoing need for highlighting the plight of rhinos, but not just rhinos, of all our natural heritage that's under pressure. But rhinos being a sort of a indicator species and iconic species, if we can get this right, then hopefully the rest will fall into place.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about One Land Love It and exactly what some of the initiatives that it's been involved in. I saw how you've roped in different people to, as you would say, to hand over the baton in the hope to conserve some of these very, very sensitive and very, very still scarce indigenous species.
That's right. So what Nikki and Wayne Bolton, the founders of OLLI, One Land Love It, did is they created something called the OLLI Move. And the OLLI Move happens around about September. And this year was our first, I think it's the third year of the OLLI Move. And it's moving from caring to doing. And this year, like you said, we had some really interesting moves. Wayne Bolton, one of the founders, cycled from Namibia all the way through to Nelson Mandela Bay. A distance of over 2,000 kilometers. At the same time, a local businesswoman, Jenny Galt, was climbing to the Everest base camp, and she literally was sort of struggling with health issues at the same time. Then there was Steve Lancaster, who did the equivalent of Mount Everest, or Kilimanjaro, Mount Kilimanjaro, climbing up a local mountain called Lady Slipper. And then myself, I enjoy swimming, so I volunteered. I put my hand up for the swimming leg, and we passed the baton on from Wayne to Jenny and then there's Sharon Jessup. So Sharon is still busy. She's running 3,000 kilometers from Nelson Mandela Bay to the Mozambique border. I think she's up to St. Lucia at the moment. And when she's done, she would have covered 3,000 plus kilometers. So yesterday, or actually Friday, we decided to do, the conditions were good for swimming. So we decided that Friday morning would be our swim around the Cape Recife Peninsula. There is one more move to be done by a long distance runner. I'm going to just tell you now, Melekaya. And Melekaya France will be running at some stage in the future just to show his move from caring to doing. So literally Friday morning was our turn to show, and myself and my brother decided to join together and swim around the peninsula.
With dolphins?
With dolphins. You can't guarantee dolphins, but it was spectacular. We jumped in the water, and for the first 40 minutes of our swim, the swim lasted about 2 hours and 41 minutes. But for the first 40 minutes, we were surrounded by the biggest group or biggest school of dolphins I've seen for a very long time. And they were very inquisitive, and they kept coming back to see what we were doing and swimming between us and up and underneath us. It was really magnificent, yeah.
Well, listen, we've got the visual images of that swim as we're playing them, as I'm having this conversation with you. And I must say, it looks absolutely superb. I mean, it must just be a beautiful experience nonetheless. But how then do we start encouraging more awareness and perhaps more people to do something about rhino poaching in this country? We have highlighted the fact that, Andrew, people are suffering from fatigue, and I can imagine how many corporates also are suffering from that fatigue. But the fight has to continue somehow. How do we encourage that fight to continue?
You know what, we have to sort of broaden our horizon a little bit with regards to conservation. Rhino is an iconic species and it's an indicator species. One of the people or one of the groups that we joined with on Friday during our swim was the South African National Bird SANCOB. I forget what the acronym actually stands for, but they are involved in the rehabilitation of African penguins and seabirds in general. And the thing about that is that our African penguins in Nelson Mandela Bay are in the same condition as rhinos are. So by pulling together with SANCOB and other associations that are doing incredible work for our environment, you know, both the penguin and the rhino are iconic. They're both species that the public love to get involved with. They see them as the penguin as a more cuddly version, but the idea behind getting iconic species, and both of the penguin and the rhino are indicator species, which means being an indicator species, it means that something is not right with the environment. So by broadening and joining hands with SANCOB, then we are hopefully going to be able to spread our net wider, and also just highlight, I mean, one just has to look at the amount of extinctions happening on a daily basis around the world. And I think we just need to keep on. Those with the energy need to keep putting messages like this on your channel and on many other channels to get the message across that the battle is not over. We all know that COP27 is happening at the moment, and there's a lot of talk about environment, etc. We should be highlighting global warming and all of those things at the same time. Yeah.
Andrew, definitely hear you. We have to leave it here, unfortunately, for this morning. But all the best, and congratulations to you as well as your brother for that fantastic swim there with the Dolphins. One Land Lover Director, Andrew Stewart.